Hello all, James Williams again. Now, our next session is with our main sponsor, Mavenir. And I'd like to introduce Guillaume Lemonet to you. Guillaume is VP and General Manager for Enterprise Solutions. And today, hi Guillaume, good to see you. Good to have you with
James.
us. Hi, hello. And today you'll be running an In Conversation with, I suppose you could term it a one-to-one fireside chat with Angel Pacheco, who is the A2P messaging, business development and marketing responsible person with Telefonica. Angel, great that you could join us.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, Guillaume, I will exit the stage and leave you to it. Enjoy your session, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, James. And good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, everybody. Angel, sorry. I need to learn how to say your first name. I'm still learning. But thank you for joining us in this conversation. I know you prepared some slide around your journey with RCS, and I think probably the best way will be to start for you to give your impression in that journey, and we will then after that fire some question at you. I'm sure the audience and myself have plenty to ask you. So with that, I would like to for you to go in that presentation and then give us some of the highlights of your journey, and then we will go wrap up after that.
Okay, perfect. So I think you can already see the presentation. Okay,
very good.
First of all, as Guillaume has said, good morning, good afternoon, depending on the place you are watching the map, and thank you to Mavenir to let me share with all of you our journey in RCS world. Okay, these are a very short presentation, 8 slides more or less. So we will be talking about this journey in a very informal way, and I think it's a good way to share with you all of our impressions and all of our insight we have discovered during this journey. Okay, as you know, Telefonica is a very group. We have presence, fingerprint in different geographies, and I want to focus on Europe. In Europe, we have 3 operators: O2 Germany, O2 UK, and Spain. Spain is the born place in which Telefonica starts the working a long time ago. In the case of RCS, we have agreed on doing launch, having in common some parts of the RCS core between these 3 geographies. We have launched the RCS for Samsung messages and also for Android messages. We are currently ramping up in different geographies this client, and we choose we have chosen the cloud way, or the cloud flavor of the offering Mavenir offer us. Why? We wanted to deploy this as soon as possible. We know it's a difficult way, a challenge, and we wanted to start working on it as soon as possible. We have already deployed P2P in the 3 geographies, and we have interconnection already deployed with Vodafone Group, with Google Jive, and also with Deutsche Telekom, that is the German operator. Sorry. Which were our main challenges? Well, first of all, even having this cloud-based deployment, we have go and pass different steps that are very, very challenging. The huge ecosystem, the complexity of the project. We have different vendors on the client, on the terminal side, and we need also to interconnect both in P2P and later on A2P with different mobile network operators. So it's a complex project to work with. It also requires a good relationship between not only our infrastructure but also Mavenir's infrastructure, the communication between us and the other hubs, and in the case of P2P with the brands connectivity. So it's something that we need to focus a lot on to detect any problem, any issue that can gives a bad user experience to other part of the service. And there is also a good job and a lot of work done in integrating, making the people work together, because we have different countries, different people, different teams in each country, working with not very aligned objectives, and we have to work together and to align all these initiatives to make it happen. Okay. Now our very first experience. We have done 3 pilots. In one of these pilots is related to the TV packet we have at Spain. That is, from now on, I'm going to speak just Spain market. We have done different other initiatives in Germany and also in UK. So in Spain, Disney Plus is Disney. It's an option for free, included into the package. Some of our customers of Movistar has in their TV packets. So we choose this as our first pilot, and we have also developed 2 pilots inside a group with a retailer, a very big retailer here in Spain, very close to the date of Valentine's, in order to get or to improve the purchases. Okay, in the case of Disney activation, our target audience was, as I have told previously, Movistar users that have a package with TV and different options. This target audience was contacted sometimes previously, and they haven't choose or activate this option that is a free or an include option in the package. We have communicate this possibility through different channels and compare these results in these different channels: email, MMS, SMS, and RCS. And the customer journey was something, as you can see in the right part of the screen. We contacted them saying, hey, Guy, the name of the people, we are very fan of Disney. I think you can also be a fan of different contents, and we provide a carousel with different options. They can choose I'm a fan of the option they like, or there were also a general one if they are not fan. They were not fan of any of these options, and if they say yes, we agree with him, with her, and say why don't you activate this option for free? If they say no, we say, are you sure? If they say yes, we follow we provide with a unique URL the activation code just to make this happen. Okay. The other 2 pilots inside this retail group was, as I told previously, related to the St. Valentine's Day. The KPI, the objective was to sell more. The retailers have had some, as everyone, a lot of problems with the with the rules we have to follow due to the COVID pandemic, and most of the products people bought are on the shop after job time, and in most places of Spain this was not possible at all. So they wanted to increase this, and it was directed to them by using three channels: RCS, SMS, and email. And there was a similar experience. In this case, it was a rich car showing this new channel. This is a free channel. You can interact with us, with the brand, from now on, using these kind of multimedia options, and some options related to him or her, depending on the sex of the people, and to carousel with different options, special discounts. If they want to buy something, we forward the user to the URL of the shopping website of the brands. Okay. Challenge of these two groups of campaigns or pilots. One is the complexity. It's more complex to do this campaign compared to SMS or MMS or even an email campaign. You have to design the journey of the user to generate with different sizes and weights the content. The content should and have to be approved by not only the brands. In the case of Disney, it was even Disney. You have to be very careful with the flow, with the different alternatives, with the throw forward, for instance, options. What happens if the user receives this message after some Valentine's Day, or even what happens to the bot behavior after finishing the campaign, and the 15th of February, what happened? It's the relationship with the customer, the member of the brand. We have also to analyze and to provide which are the users that are RCS capable from the members of the brands. In the case of Disney, it wasn't a problem. Everyone was a Movistar user. In the case of the brand, they have to they have to launch this campaign just for Movistar in this case. So we have to do a lot of manual work. In the case of devices, they wanted to be sure that all the content was really good, and they want to share to check by a video showing the flow and the interaction before approving the content. So this was another challenge, to have the different terminals to be sure what they see is what they want to have. And in some cases, there were some warnings the very first time a new bot enters in the client of the messaging of the terminal. So it's at the very first step. The first impression was, "Whoa, it is new. What is this? It is spam or whatever." So that's a problem. That were a problem. In general, it was the lack of knowledge of the channel. It looks wonderful, but they don't know what is the behavior, or what is the campaign that generates with the content and with the programming, which is the results. So they want to touch before sending the campaign. Nevertheless, there were some key learnings. In general, the mobile messaging performed better than email. That's something that it's happening not only with RCS, but from a lot of time with MMS or SMS. We show in these two cases a similar behavior of the final objective to activate the Disney Plus option after 7 days or to buy more. In this mobile messaging channels, we suppose some of these challenges or the previous challenge commented was one of the reasons. Another reason is the the target audience. If you have been touched 3-4 times, you know that option, so the results should be more or less similar, just a little. And in the case of retail, as I told previously, I think that the people, at least in Spain, doesn't need to buy anything. So as inside we have see that the education is critical to the people, to the brands, even our internal programming and marketing people, just to be sure that everyone knows this new channel. And it takes time. It's not as easy as previous campaigns or common use channels to deliver content or to deliver information to our customers or to our clients. And it takes time. It's not so easy to do that at the very beginning, at this stage. So I think this is the last. And Guillaume, if you want.
Yeah. Thank you, Angel. I mean, very, very informative. You know, a lot of information in this session and this return of the first campaign. Clearly, you know, we still have a long way to go in the education and making sure people understand what RCS and RBM brings to the end user, but also to the brand. So I've prepared a few questions, you know, and I'd like to, of course, you know, fire the question to you. I think, you know, before we get into more of the details regarding brands, I'd like to better understand, you know, what is your sales model for enterprise and aggregator at Telefonica España? If you can help everybody in the audience to understand that.
Yes, because I think sometimes it's hard to understand how other countries are selling the messaging, in this case RCS. In the case of Spain, brands and public administration used to have a single provider for communication, and they demand to reach not only Telefonica, Movistar users, but also Vodafone, Orange, MásMóvil, etc. So they look for this global or market reach in its single provider of communication, and they ask this capability to us, and we provide as we are currently doing in SMS an aggregated model to reach all the market, and we are going to develop or to evolve naturally this model through RCS.
Okay. So I think it's fair to say that in Spain, you act as an aggregator, as a master aggregator for reach, which is very specific to the Spanish market, I guess, for historical reason. You know, one of the immediate question around this is, you know, what kind of pricing model did you introduce when you started to launch, or when you're going to start to launch at a broader scale? What will be the pricing model you envision? You don't have to disclose any number, of course, but at least you know the mechanism or the structure of the pricing.
Yes. Okay. Yes, numbers are forbidden right now. Even we are working with them. What we are trying to do with not only us, but also doing some kind of works with other operators is to understand by means of these pilots which is the perception of the value of the channel versus the pricing or the billing models. We need to provide to the ecosystem something valuable, something easy to understand. At this stage, I can say that the RCS message will have a price a premium price compared to the SMS. Why? It's natural. It has a longer size multimedia content option that is evident, and we will have for sure discounts by volume. We are working also on having some kind of promotional initial period just to avoid this thread or this problem with the knowledge of the channel, and let the brands test whatever they want, forgetting the price value. So we in general we are considering different options, as I said, but having as goal make it as simple as possible and as easy to understand as possible. We'll have messages. We want to have sessions. We are trying to decide it to have flowers, text only messages, or more advanced messages is an option. Perhaps at the very beginning, no, because it makes the things more complex. And we are also working on having other options like unique daily users or monthly users, or addressable users per campaign. In the case of marketing, it's different, the use case of marketing and the use case of about interacting with the people during some time because of problem of support or trying to demand something. And that's all. Experiencing with pilots, testing with pilots, and trying to provide as simple as possible model.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think, the immediate question that brands or enterprise may have, or even aggregators, is what is your RCS base? How many people in Spain can you reach today with RCS? What are your projections in the near term, long term future, to reach as many as you can? So if you can give some high level numbers on that will help our brands and enterprise.
Okay, in the case of Movistar Spain, we have almost 3 million users RCS capable 2.0, so provide 2.0. If we consider the whole market, it's around 10 million users reachable by RCS. As we can know in advance, a user is RCS capable, the brands will be able to split these communications with some users that perhaps they don't have RCS, or they just have email, or they want to be accessed just by SMS. For instance, my mother didn't understand anything but SMS. So they will be able to do that, and we are trying. There will be a natural upgrading of the capabilities of the terminals as the people change the terminals. Most of the market will be RCS capable. In Spain, depending on the crisis, it takes 2-3 years from each time people bought a terminal. But we are also analyzing the following approach is to reach the different people that has a terminal that is capable, but it has not downloaded the version, the right version, or it has not the RCS version supported by this operating system. So we will have some kind of broadcasting, trying to do that people has the right version of the message.
Very good. So going into the brand, I think what would be interesting that you can share, you got this very privileged conversation with brand. What has been the perception? What has been the reaction of the brands when you introduce RCS, and what has been the feedback so far? I know you give your perspective in the presentation, but it would be interesting to share the brand perspective.
Well, the very first impression is they like it, and they don't know anything about RCS at that moment. It's new, and it's very different to the way of working they used to do with their users and with the different channels they have. So, some of them ask for a full personalization, and it were an app completely designed by them. They don't know how to use the logos or the background colors, etc. It depends on the application, Samsung or Google messages. They even ask to translate the website navigation to the RCS channel. So it's they don't know anything at all. We have to give them advice and to be with them step by step, trying to help them in any process they do. And for do that, in this first stage, we realized that providing them a video of what is the navigation, or what is the result, or what is the conversation with the bot is crucial. They need to know what they are going to provide to their users.
Okay. Very good. So I guess, André, what I'd like to do is, the interest of time, I think we have like more or less 10 minutes. We start to get questions from the audience. So these are the questions that I'm going to send to you or ask you from the audience. So the first question we have is from Michael Brown. And first of all, he says, thanks, Angel. Very interesting case. To start a campaign in Spain, should we address you or Mavenir or any aggregators? That's an easy one.
Okay. In the case of Telefonica, you can contact directly with me, and I will try to put in contact you with the right people, because I'm in the marketing and development area. There are sales people, there are technical guys, etc. You can also contact aggregators. This is a market in which we have different players. They are aggregators, they are brands, and we also sell messages, or in this case RCS, to aggregators. The same does other operators, but it is my space, so they call me.
Okay, got it. The other question we have is from Indapal Momik. How do you look to resolve the issue of opt-out prompt at the first message? In your initial test in December and February, how did RCS channel perform in comparison to SMS and MMS channel?
I think it's similar, because we have opt-out option in the navigation tree to get out of this communication, but it's something similar. What we can share is that sometimes the database we have is not so good as we think, because we have received messages saying, hey, this is not me, this is another, or my right name is this, or well, I worry about the Wi-Fi connection, not about Disney, in the case of Disney. So not a special problem about the opt-out. It's an option. We have to provide this to the users, but it is the same as SMS. No change.
Okay, got it. There's another question from Mikkel Chai. I don't know how to say the first name, last name. How the session in business model is defined. So I think it's talking about the A2P or P2A session in the business model is defined. Is the same criteria for all A2P, P2A communication, or is it configurable per chatbot, per customer? Is it time like 10 minutes or defined some other way? I think,
yes. At this stage is not configurable. Why? Because if we provide you, the aggregators, the brands, the option to configure everything, what happens at the end is they don't know what to do. What we are right now trying is to agree on the market, Vodafone, Orange, MásMóvil, etc., to have the same concept of session, even to work with a long time session, 24 hours instead of 4 hours. That is the recommended option of ESN, and try to help the people play with sessions. We are not so worried about if the best option is, for instance, 4 months, in the case you are trying to sell a car or to sell a flat or whatever other option a bank can provide to you, or in the case of an incident with my phone, 4 hours can be right, but it's so wide the spectrum. We want to just to start with something simple. We want to change as much as we can, even not only the session, but also to have the different content with each bot, text-based bot or completely RCS bot, not at the beginning.
We got a question from Yogesh Libani. What metrics do you use to measure the efficiency or efficacy of the RCS A2P channel versus SMS? How do you measure, performance?
It depends on each case. Well, first of all, RTS is good, but it's not magic. If you are not interested at all in buying a car or upgrading Disney Plus, with RTS or with any other channel, the success will not be so good as the marketing guys wanted. In the case of Disney, the KPI was which number of people has activated from the launch date to 7 days later, the Disney Plus option. In the case of the retail brands and the two campaigns inside of this group, it was the same. The number of purchases after Valentine's. So that's the KPI. The best is to ask the brand what they want to measure. And in these cases was the KPI chosen.
Okay, we got I think it's not a question, it's a repeat for you, Angel. Alfredo Jones missed the number of subscribers covered by RCS. I think this is an important metric for all aggregators and brands. Can you repeat the number of RCS users?
No problem. 3 million in the case of Movistar, in the whole market, around 10 million, I think a little more.
Okay, 10 million. That's an easy number to remember. Another question from Indapol Mimic. When do you expect to launch RBM commercially, like full blown?
Yes. What we want to do is on July. On July, we will like to have this all these platforms, all these procedures, the interconnection technically with other operators, the contract signed for these interconnection prices. As I remember, we provide we play the role as the aggregator for the public administrations and brands. So we would like to have this ready on summer.
Yeah.
This year.
That's good. Yeah, it's important. And I think, going back to another question, I have for you. So you mentioned, and it's clear, like education is going to be very, very important on that channel. It's a very rich channel. It's a very new channel. What would you recommend that as an industry we do? I mean, of course, we are here at the MEF event, but as an industry, what should we do, to accelerate and solve that problem of education?
Well, what the players that can do and usually do this kind of campaigns are the brands that invest on digital advertisement and messaging campaigns, the agency, etc. So I think it's good to make them join this kind of events to know which is the status, which is the good part, the good practices, which are the recommendation, etc. In the case of the technically issues to be addressed, they need to know some kind of guidelines to be sure which is the right format, or if they have to put different response options in the opt-out, the legal condition, etc., or how to interact if they have to do a very complex campaign or a very simplex one, trying to get the users familiar with that. But I think to communicate, to educate, and to introduce this kind of advertising agencies or brands that used to do these things with us or with aggregators, with you, with the technological providers, is going to be one of the best options to educate the market.
Yeah. I mean, one of my last question, I think, and it's very close to me because I love that market, that vertical. But obviously, the first campaign were done with very large brands, Disney and the other retail brands that you mentioned. But what about the small business? And do you believe, based on your return of experience, that small business can benefit from the RCS channel and what I would take,
Well, in the case of a small and medium enterprise, I think there is still work to be done. First, at least in this market, I think in every market, the leaders, the big brands, provide trust to all the ecosystem, the enterprise market, the final users, and they provide these new channels to the users as the very first test or the very first initiative. So when the big brands start doing that, the final users and the small and medium enterprises will benefit from this increase of trust of the channel. But there is a second problem, that is the work to be done is too much, and I think small businesses cannot afford to invest on to do customized campaigns. So we need to provide some automation tools or verticalizations solutions to help them on just updating the content, updating the messages or the time frame, and go live. If not, they will never be able to introduce the service they are providing to their customers to this new channel. And we, partners, operators, vendors, and aggregators have something to support them and to propose to them. I think it's something we have to do to help them on reaching this channel.
Well, thank you, Angel. I think we are to the end of our session of our 40 minutes. And I really want to thank you, for your time to share your first return of experience, and to thank you for your partnership, between Mavenir and Telefonica. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to all.
Bye.